Hello, everyone. Welcome back to OpenLine. Glad you are with us. We're talking with Jeff Barrie with the Tennessee Environmental Council, talking about the environment and sustainability. And Jeff is joining us via Zoom. He has some props, which is great. And so I want you to kind of show us some more stuff. What are some other, when we talk about sustainability, and again, I appreciate you incorporating the the definition in as you talk about these things for people who may be just tuning in, but show us some other props you have there. Wait, it sounds like you're muted.
Oh, no.
Okay, there, now I hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Good. I might have stepped too far away from the mic, but I love props because these are things we use every day. I just made some chili this weekend, the first batch of the season. So I had all these cans of tomatoes that were left over. I love drinking soft drinks and beverages, so we go through a lot of cans. These are aluminum, these are tin, and they are recyclable. And now Nashville and Middle Tennessee is actually ranks at the bottom of the nation as far as recycling, at the top of the nation in trash produced per person. So we have a lot of room for improvement there. Now, when you recycle aluminum can, and that metal is processed and turned into a new can, and it requires something like 90% less energy to make aluminum from a recycled product or from something people are throwing away than it does to go and mine the earth for new bauxite, which is the raw material to make aluminum cans. So recycling cans has an enormous energy savings out in the world, which means less carbon, less global warming emissions, and we're creating local jobs when we recycle aluminum. And the same goes for tin cans. Now in Nashville, we have the curbside program, which means I can just put it out by the curb every month and it gets picked up. So an enormous energy savings by recycling. And another, a lot of people think, well, I have recycling, so I can throw all my stuff in there. And one of the problems with our recycling system is, I'm going to hold up a glass jar here, is that people think, now glass is very recyclable, and when you recycle a glass bottle and it gets made into new glass bottles, it can be done infinitely over and over again because glass is very recyclable, and it reduces the energy used to make that new glass bottle by something like 30%. But people think they can just throw it in their curbside cart, but unfortunately, glass is not recyclable in the curbside cart. You got to take it to a drop-off center, and I now have a curbside glass pickup service that is operated by Just Glass here in Middle Tennessee. So it's important when you recycle for the environmental benefits to improve our sustainability, create local jobs, have less impact on the environment. We have to do it in a way that is following the local guidelines or regulations, and they're pretty much different in every community in Tennessee.
And it seems like a lot of people wouldn't know that. That would be a mistake you could make, a good faith mistake. You think, okay, glass. And I bet there are people that even, if they're recycling glass, they would throw away that whole thing with the container up at the top, and maybe that's not the right way to do it either, or even if there's stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. There's so many contaminants in a recycling that it degrades the whole system. And so we hear stories of, I recycled, but I heard that they just throw it in the landfill anyway. And that's not true. But there may have been some cases where a recycling worker will see a whole bag full of stuff. There's food scraps in there, and there's glass in there. And those are all contaminants in the recycling system. So the plastic on top of here needs to be removed. The stuff inside needs to be rinsed out and dumped out for this glass bottle to be able to be recycled at my community drop-off center. But I can't put it in my curbside because then it becomes a contaminant. So that's why following the local guidelines is essential if you want it to work. And it's not that complicated. It's just pretty much, hey, let's rinse out the cans and bottles before we put it in the recycling cart. And that improves the whole system.
All right, very good. All right, hold on, we're going to take a call here. Let's take a call, then we'll go back to more show and tell. Let's go to Brad. Hello, Brad.
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead.
Couple of quick questions. Number one, I'm 75 years old, and I have looked online at solar And as of roughly 6 months ago, what I found online on my phone was anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000. Now, I don't know. I'm in good health as far as that goes. I don't know if I'm gonna be around long enough to invest in solar and reap some of the benefits of it. I'm comfortable. The outlay is a lot, but I can do it. That's not the issue. Am I going to be able to reap the benefits of it? Number two, I drive a Ford F-250 diesel, and there are a lot of diesel trucks out there. And I know that a lot of the big rigs, your tractors and trailers, they're making the new tractors, as many as they can, electrical. Now, is diesel going to be around for drivers, like me, or are they just going to eventually price us out of the market?
Okay. All right. Good questions, both of them. The investment in solar and diesel. All right. Thank you, Brad. Let's talk about that. What about start with diesel? What about that?
Yeah, diesel. The short answer is I think diesel trucks for transportation of products and goods and services across America will be around for a while before the batteries are so sophisticated and the infrastructure is robust enough to support those long hauls. So I don't see diesel going away anytime soon, although a lot of truck manufacturers are looking at developing battery driven long haul 18-wheelers. So it's happening, but because it would take a lot more batteries in a truck, it's not. It will be a while. The cars are going to replace gasoline-based vehicles a lot quicker than big rigs are going to be replaced by battery-driven trucks. So that's my prediction. But I do see that eventually it'll happen. I'm thinking more like 20 or 30 years down the road. And now to answer the,
okay. And then his other question was about solar, the cost of it, and essentially the basic point of his question: when do you start seeing a return on that large upfront investment?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question. So, in my mind, the return is instant. Now, first of all, if you don't want to make the outlay of cash up front, because to replace all the energy in a typical Tennessee home, the average home, it is going to be somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 to install that system. And it would be grid tied, so it would feed your energy into the Tennessee Valley Authority's grid when it's producing a surplus. And you will still need to be using grid electricity when it's at nighttime, for example, when there's no sun. But you could also purchase the community solar that's now available through many of the local power providers, like NES now has a community solar initiative. Middle Tennessee Electric has one where you can actually just buy they have large solar fields and they're building more, where you can buy solar energy from them. But so that's available right now without any upfront cost. It's just a matter of going onto their website and signing up for it. But in my mind, when you put solar panels on your rooftop, you're getting immediate energy savings. So it's not going to pay for itself in a couple years, more like 10 years before the system financially will pay for itself. So it's not a quick return on investment, but after that 10 or so years, and it depends on how big a system you install, when you get that payback. But after that time, it's free energy essentially. So,
all right, that's great. All right, about 10 years to pay for itself, and that's interesting. You gave the prices. All right, I want to take another call. Can we take a call before we go to break really fast here? Let's go to Ross, super fast. Ross, are you there? Go right ahead.
Okay, you had a caller wanting to know how long it takes to pay off solar panels. In my case, it's going to take me 13 years. But now I didn't do it for financial reasons. I did it because I wanted to, save the environment, so to speak. I'm a science guy, so I've been on this subject for decades. But anyway, it'll take me 13 years. I'm 78 now, and this is my 4th year. So I don't know if I'll live long enough to get my money back or not, but that wasn't the point anyway. It was to reduce my carbon footprint. And then the other comment, another thing was on recycling aluminum. I have a hobby machine shop, so once a year I take my scrap metal in, and I take my aluminum cans to the scrap yard, and they pay you directly for your aluminum cans. So I don't know if that's helpful to anybody or not, but those are my comments.
Ross, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. 13 years. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, continue our discussion. Be back right after this.